Hey guys, so this is the new Diatone GT-M2. This is a 2-inch micro with basically all the components from the GT-M series version 2 for the cage and the 4-in AC, all the electronics in the stack. But then you have basically the motors from the R90 series. This is the Sunny Sky motors, the Edge Racing 1104 6000 kV motors, pretty good motors. And I'm running some Dell props here, some Ford-related Q2035 props on this. They actually sent the GemFan 1940 props for this model. I believe that's also what they're shipping for the R90 version 2. I'm not exactly sure why they went with that choice. I think that, I mean, obviously it fits a 2-inch prop here, no problem. But that's what they're shipping. And I think you only get 1 or 2 sets anyway. I recommend going with this prop. I flew really nice on this particular prop, and I'll give you the PIDs that I flew on 3S in the flight demo. I didn't fly. It will fly. This does fly on 4S if you want, but I haven't tried that yet. That's going to be for a future video down the road. And if you're interested in 4S on this, let me know. Obviously here you see this is a plus version. This does come in a normal X version as well. I don't know if they're going to make a stretched X version of this. It's quite possible they might. But as far as I know, there's definitely going to be a normal X, and then there's this plus version here. And yeah, it's just basically you have the stack from the version 2 of the GT-M3. You got a 25 amp 4-in AC, the Fury F4 flight controller, and this is the new 4K version with the MPU 6000. Not the 32K gyro, and then you have the upgraded TBS Unify setup here. So you have the version 2 stack setup with the TBS Unify on top, but then they've added this special board here for filtering, for video filtering, and the Unify is soldered to this board along with this large capacitor, and then they also still have the capacitor there in the back that is on the 5-volt rail on the flight controller that does additional filtering. So there was a lot of complaints of video noise in the previous releases of the Diatone micros, the R90 and the V1s of the GT-M3. So Diatone listens to their customer feedback, and they went and made a lot of modifications and upgrades to get this sort of good video noise, good components, and make sure that it flies better for the customers. One thing I'd want to is that they moved the current sensor that was once on the XT30 is now a part of the 4-in AC. See, there's the shunt there for the current sensor is now built into the 4-in AC, whereas before it was on the XT30 connector. They are still using some thin wire here. This is only 20 gauge wire for the battery connector, and I've told them they should probably upgrade this to 18 gauge minimum, possibly even 16 gauge, depending if you want to do 4S or not. I find that this flies really nice on 3S anyway. I was flying around on 450 and 550 3S LiPos for this one, and it was flying just great. Now, I've also been told that they're going to sell the frame kit for this if you want the plus version. Say, for example, if you have the R90 and you want to convert it into this plus version with the cage here, you can take all of your electronics, stick it into this frame along with the motors, and you can have, it's not quite exactly like this. Obviously, you're going to be missing all the video filtration for the V2 components and the larger 4-in AC, but all the R90 stuff will go in here no problem, and you can get a different frame here with the aluminum side plates, the M3 style side plates. So if you want to do that, that frame kit should be available on the Diatone website probably within a couple weeks after this video has been published. Anyway, so in terms of flight characteristics, I was flying the other plus frame recently, the Eclair. It was the Eclair plus frame. That was a 2.5 inch, so a little bit more power. But I think the arrangement of the motors was different on that one, where the two side motors are a little bit more further back, so I would have a lot more of the pitching of the nose downward, because the 3 motors in the back were behind the center of gravity and would pitch when basically on throttle punch outs. The back motors would push the back up, and then you would nose forward. This didn't have that as much of an issue, because I think on this particular plus, the motors are a little bit more central to the center of gravity. There's a little bit of there because it's a little bit further back with the CG, but it wasn't as bad on the Eclair. And you can also see here on the plus that the motors in the front and back are much more separated versus the motors on side to side. So you have very slow flips, which is on the pitch axis, and the rolls are very quick, which is on the roll axis because the motors are closer on the side to side. So that's one of the differences. Also, the yaws are a little bit slower because of the motor separation on the front to back. You could probably adjust all those with rates, but with my standard rates that I use on for Quad X setups, those are the things I experience. But you could probably adjust those to your liking in your rates if you need to adjust those. Now, in terms of the tune, I will give you my PIDs for a 3S tune. I haven't done any 4S tuning in this yet. I think that on 3S it flies pretty good. I did back off the P and D a little bit because I think that when you go right to the edge, you get a little bit of vibrations and oscillations. Mostly, I think it was on the P term, so I did back that off a little bit. So the PIDs you're going to see there might be a little bit loose on the build that you get. So if you feel like it's a little bit wishy-washy, then just up the P and the D gains, say like 5 points, and that might get you a better tune. Other than that, I think the I gain's fine. I didn't add too much. I think I've got standard anti-gravity in there. The anti-gravity is 3, and I just have my standard rates in there, which is 0.75. So yeah, you can put it in the rates that you like and such. But I think the PIDs that I got should work pretty well on 3S. Now, if you guys want a 4S tune, let me know in the comments below. May or may not do a 4S video. They didn't seem too much interested in the R90 4S tuning videos, so I'm not exactly sure if there's going to be one for this one. But if there is, if you have interest in that, do leave me a comment there that I know that someone would want to watch that. Otherwise, I might just skip that because I've got so many other videos to do. In any event, I'll go ahead and I'll show you some flight demo footage. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.